Don't take if you are allergic to dextromethorphan, bupropion, or any of the ingredients in Auvelity. Don't take with MAOIs. High blood pressure, manic episodes, serious eye problems, and dizziness can occur. Report all medicines you take to avoid a life-threatening condition. Don't take Auvelity if you are or may become pregnant. Side effects can include dizziness, headache, diarrhea, feeling sleepy, dry mouth, sexual function problems, and excessive sweating. Ask your provider about Auvelity. Go with Auvelity.
Are your trash bins filthy, smelly, or infested with flies and maggots? Wash Bins will sanitize and deodorize your bins with next day service or it's free. Sign up now at washbins.com for next day service or it's free. Enjoy clean, fresh smelling bins with next day service or it's free. Why wait? Have fresh smelling, clean bins tomorrow with next day service or it's free. Sign up now at washbins.com. That's washbins.com for next day service guaranteed or it's free.
We love California, but we love Californians even more. 60 countries in one state and the music of 200 languages. At Covered California, we believe every single Californian deserves healthcare that works. So let us haggle. Let us cut through the confusion. We're not a health insurance company. We're in it for you. Because we are you. For the love of Californians. Covered California.
The Voice winner Sofronio Vasquez talks about his upcoming concert and win tickets to Dancing with the Stars Live on tour, plus a meet and greet photo op tomorrow.
Now at 11, 9 months after the deadly and destructive Palisades fire, an arson suspect is under arrest tonight. Good evening. I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. A 29-year-old former Uber driver is accused of intentionally starting one of the most destructive fires in Southern California history.
Investigators say the suspect set the fire on New Year's Day that would later reignite and become the Palisades fire. 12 people were killed, nearly 8,000 homes destroyed. The fire virtually wiped out a large swath of the wealthy seaside community, causing billions of dollars in damage.
Rick Chambers is live in the Palisades with the latest on the investigation and the arrest. Rick.
Yeah, sure. That suspect was arrested yesterday in Florida, appeared briefly in an Orlando courtroom this morning. We do expect to see him in court again tomorrow. He did live here locally, though, when that fire broke out, and he has been a person of interest ever since.
He is charged with starting the Palisades fire.
29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht is in custody tonight, accused of sparking the flames that charred the Palisades.
We will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he intentionally started this fire.
The feds maintain Rinderknecht was working as an Uber driver 10 months ago and dropped off riders close to where the fire originated. He also lived nearby at the time.
This is New Year's Eve, so it was around midnight, and he went up to this hilltop. And at some point up there, around 12 a.m., he ignited a fire.
It was the Lockman fire, a small one up at the Temescal trailhead. A federal complaint claims that Rinderknecht's phone was traced to that area that night, just seconds, in fact, after the flames erupted, and his car was seen parked there. Rinderknecht also repeatedly called 911 from the hilltop, allegedly to set up an alibi. And when firefighters arrived, Rinderknecht allegedly followed them, videotaped them, and even asked if he could help them. The brush fire was quickly extinguished, on the surface at least, but then simmered underground for 6 days.
The fire was a holdover fire, meaning it was deeply seated in dense vegetation and roots and continued to burn undetected until catastrophic weather ensued, resulting in the Palisades fire.
Investigators say that Rinderknecht was obsessed with fire, repeatedly listening to this French rap song about fire starting in the months leading up to the Lockman fire. They say he also had ChatGPT design this dystopian image of people running for their lives from a forest fire. Detectives say that they have spent the past half year ruling out other potential causes of the Palisades fire, and the trail keeps leading them back to Jonathan Rinderknecht.
With clarity, we know this is an incendiary fire and that the subject that we arrested started it.
And the investigators say they have ruled out fireworks. They believe it was deliberately set. Probably, they say, a lighter used on the brush. In the Palisades, I'm Rick Chambers. Guys, I'll throw it back to you to Hollywood.
Rick, thank you. When the Palisades fire erupted on January 7th, LA firefighters found themselves short on resources necessary to face what was described as a perfect storm fueled by hurricane-level winds. That's the conclusion of the department's new after-action report, released just hours after federal authorities announced the arrest of an arson suspect in connection with the fire. Among the key failures cited, an ineffective process for recalling off-duty fire crews. Fire chiefs with inadequate experience had to handle a major incident and a delay in evacuation orders.
A historic breakthrough toward peace in the Middle East tonight. Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of a Gaza peace plan. President Trump announcing the deal that will allow for the swift release of all hostages and an end to the fighting.
The agreement comes one day after the 2-year anniversary of the unprecedented Hamas attack on Israel that ignited the brutal war. John Finolio is in the KTLA News Center with the details of this historic agreement. John.
Well, Sheriff Micah, that's right. This agreement, while tenuous, is a major breakthrough after multiple failed attempts to end the war that has killed some 1,200 Israelis and more than 67,000 Palestinians.
Tonight, the prospect of peace in Gaza and Israel hangs in the balance.
Okay. I'm just given. I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East, and they're going to need me pretty quickly, so I will take a couple of more questions.
Moments later, President Trump breaking the news on his social media site, writing in part, "I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops at an agreed-upon line as the first steps towards a strong, durable, and everlasting peace." The president helped broker the deal with his Middle East envoy, which includes his son-in-law Jared Kushner. The group has been meeting with mediators from Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey to convince Israel and Hamas to end their bloody 2-year war. The deal calls for Hamas to release all of the Israeli hostages, 20 believed to be alive, and the remains of 28 others. In exchange, Israel would release nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. The agreement also calls for Hamas to disarm and abandon any future role in governing Gaza. It's believed Israel would begin to withdraw its forces from Gaza in phases. The ceasefire and hostage exchange may begin this weekend, although the exact timing is unclear. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also posting on social media, saying in part, "With the approval of this first phase of the plan, all of the hostages will be brought home. This is a diplomatic success and a national and moral victory for the state of Israel." Hamas also out with a statement saying in part that the agreement provides for an end to the war in Gaza, the withdrawal of the occupation forces, the entry of humanitarian aid, and a prisoner exchange.
Tonight, it is not clear if Hamas will disarm. If they do, the question remains, who will govern Gaza? The plan right now calls for Palestinians and international experts to form a transitional governing committee, which would include the reconstruction of Gaza. That committee would be supervised by an international board of peace, possibly chaired by President Trump. But tonight, none of that has been confirmed. Sending it back to you.
Thank you, John. The federal government shutdown has entered week 2, and Congress remains at an impasse on a funding plan. A live look tonight at Capitol Hill, where Republicans and Democrats again voted down competing proposals to fund the government. Both sides continue to blame each other. Democrats say they won't vote for the Republican bill without an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies that expire at the end of the year. They also want a reversal of cuts to Medicaid that were made after Republicans passed President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Republicans call those demands a non-starter. That shutdown continues to impact air travel, flights delayed for a 3rd straight day. There has been a lack of air traffic controllers in several cities, including Burbank, Boston, Chicago, and Philadelphia. The FAA reduces the number of flights in and out of airports when there are lower than ideal staffing levels to handle air traffic safely.
Hundreds of people marched through downtown Chicago tonight in protest of President Trump's deployment of 500 National Guard troops to the Chicago area. The Pentagon says the troops will work to support ICE and protect federal property, but the demonstrators are accusing the Trump administration of breaking the law, calling it an illegal military occupation. The deployment will last for an initial period of 60 days. A court hearing is scheduled for tomorrow on a request by Illinois and Chicago to declare the Guard deployment illegal.
Here at home, a beautiful night outside. Meteorologist Vera Jimenez with a first look for you at 11. Vera.
That's right, Micah, and there we go. That's the Long Beach camera, and as you can see, there isn't that much marine layer just yet, and that is going to continue to redevelop overnight into tomorrow morning. As we head through the afternoon, there is a small chance that we could see some thunderstorms over the mountains and the deserts. They are going to be stray and scattered, but some of those where we do have the strongest cells, of course, will have the potential to produce some heavy rain at times. Also, this afternoon, temperatures were below average, 76 degrees. The average this time of year is 80, so we were actually a little bit cooler than yesterday because yesterday we actually hit 77.